This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. Operatives of the Philippine National Police's anti-scalawag unit have arrested 2 police officers in Makati City for extorting money from a resident whom they accused of involvement in the theft of automated teller machine cards. Citing a report from the Integrity Monitoring and Enforcement Group, the PNP Public Information Office identified the police officers as Pat Mark Dan Avincula, 32, and Pat Mark Joseph Segada, 31, both assigned at Substation 6, Makati City Police Station. The report said joint elements of the IMEG, District Intelligence Division of the Southern Police District and Poblacion Substation of Makati City Police Station conducted an entrapment operation at a Mabini Street Poblacion, Makati City at around 4:30 am Friday. The complainants, identified as Angelica Desa and Dante Ruanto, both residents of Don Fabian, Quezon City, filed a complaint against Avincula, who was identified through his cellular phone number, which was also the number declared on his PNP personal data sheet, and 2 unidentified cohorts. They both alleged that the suspects were extorting money from them. Investigations showed that on December 8, at about 8:25 p.m. Desa met a foreigner and befriended her, to which they exchanged numbers. The following day, she received a message from a different cellular number that invited her to Makati City Police Station, where they alleged that there was a complaint by a foreigner about a missing ATM card and money worth 130,000 pesos. When she decided to meet the texter somewhere in Makati City, she was accosted by the 2 police officers on board a white vehicle with pulleys marking without an attached blinker and brought her to Station 6 in Makati CPS and confiscated her iPhone. The 2 police officers also went to their house in Quezon City and confiscated Ruanto's iPhone, and then they were taken to the barangay Poblacion and was indicated that they should pay an amount of 50,000 pesos in exchange for their 2 iPhones. Reportedly, no criminal case was filed against Desa and Ruanto. The suspects yielded the 1,000 pesos marked money used in the operation, 49 pieces of 1,000 peso bills, 2 PNP ID cards of the suspects, 2 motorcycle keys, a Carnic pistol with serial number BG26990, and another Carnic pistol, BG19990 with an inserted magazine. The report said the arrested policemen and pieces of evidence were taken to the IMEG headquarters for documentation and filing of appropriate charges. An active police officer was arrested after he allegedly robbed a gasoline station in Barangay Poblacion in Trinidad Town in Bohol Province on Saturday, December 17, 2022. Police Colonel Lorenzo Alfesh Bachuan, Police Director of Bohol Police Provincial Office, identified the suspect as Police Staff Sergeant Conchito Payak, 33, an active desk officer of the Doyas Police Station. Payak is a resident of Barangay Agining, President Carlos P. Garcia in Bohol Province. We assure the public that Police Officer Payak will face the consequences of his actions, both criminal and administrative cases, Bachuan said. Complaints of robbery with intimidation and violence against persons, and administrative case are readied against Payak. In an online interview, Bachuan said that the suspect was engaged in illegal gambling, particularly in cockfighting, which perhaps had affected him financially and led him to engage in this crime. He is into illegal gambling. He has fighting cocks. There is a possibility that he could not sustain his needs financially, Bachuan said. Bachuan said that Payak was also tagged as responsible in 2 separate robberies in municipalities of Alicia and Huero in Bohol Province on December 1st and 7th respectively, where gasoline stations in those towns were robbed. The suspect reportedly operates on his own. A total of 279 erring police officers have been dismissed from the service since President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. assumed office, the Philippine National Police said on Monday, citing latest data. PNP Chief General Rodolfo Azurin Jr. said the figure is among the 1,211 PNP personnel omitted with various sanctions from July 1 to December 7, 2022. The number also includes 79 who were demoted, 427 suspended and 381 personnel who were sanctioned with various penalties such as forfeiture of salary, reprimand, restriction, and withholding of privileges. The PNP will never tolerate any irregularity and breach of discipline in the police service. We will always be steadfast in our thrust to discipline our personnel while we value each and everyone's welfare while serving the Filipino people, Azurin said. The PNP Internal Affairs Service has taken an aggressive stance in handling and investigating police personnel who were slapped with administrative charges. Working hand in hand with the IAS is the PNP Integrity Monitoring and Enforcement Group, whose functions include receiving complaints and information against erring personnel and conducting relevant information gathering activities, detecting and conducting intelligence build-up on the involvement of PNP personnel in illegal activities, acts of graft and corruption, and other crimes for the conduct of prompt countermeasures, and initiating law enforcement operations against rogue cops. The Department of Justice on Monday announced that it will file charges against 3 members of the Philippine National Police in connection with the disappearance of an e-sabong agent in 2021. According to the DOJ, the information against Police Staff Sergeant Daryl Pangangan, Patrolman Roy Navarrete, and Patrolman Rigel Brosses for robbery and kidnapping will be filed at the San Pablo City Regional Trial Court. This stemmed from the alleged abduction of e-sabong agent Ricardo Lasco from his home in Barangay San Lucas, San Pablo City on August 30, 2021. During the preliminary investigation, the investigating panel finds probable cause against respondents Pangangan, Navarrete, and Brosses for robbery and kidnapping of Lasco, the DOJ said in a briefer. These respondents were identified by the complainants, it added. Pangangan, Navarrete, and Brosses, along with others, allegedly arrested Lasco in relation to the crime of large-scale estafa filed against him. His relatives said the PNP members initially introduced themselves as operatives of the National Bureau of Investigation. They said they also took several valuables from them. A police sergeant was arrested Sunday for firing his gun indiscriminately in Mangataram town. Chief Master Sergeant Raul Cayabayab, a resident of Barangay Olocafabrazan, Mangataram, is now facing criminal and administrative charges for firing his gun multiple times at the JK Resort and nearby Barangay Cavernasan. Mangataram police recovered 42 pieces of fired cartridge cases at the scene, and a 9mm Glock Generation 4 gun was seized from Cayabayab. A policeman in Manila is in hot water for allegedly bringing out his service firearm during a confrontation with members of the UST Judo Juniors team, according to Darlene Key's report on Anang Balita on Tuesday. The report said 6 jubilant members of the team aged 12 to 17 years old were walking along a street in Sampaloc, Manila around 9:30 p.m. on Sunday following a victory in a competition when they were approached by the policeman for being noisy. We thought at first that he would just congratulate us, but he was aggressive, one of the team members said. The policeman allegedly brought out a handcuff and invited the team to board a police mobile. When their students refused, the policeman allegedly brought out his service firearm. He held his gun. He said he did that because I was looking at his gun. That's unlikely, the judo team member said. Another member of the team said they panicked because they did not know what to do. We really did not know what to do. Of course we are just kids. Who would want someone to bring out a gun in front of you, he said. The students, who were still wearing their uniforms and medals, then contacted their coach. The policeman, identified as Police Corporal Marvin Castro, apologized to the students and their parents and coaches when they faced each other at the barangay hall. They were not listening to me. I was asking them to stop but they would not stop, Castro said. Castro said he felt threatened by the team. When the parents brought the issue to the police station, a parent said they were urged to just drop the complaint in the spirit of Christmas. They asked us to drop the complaint in the spirit of Christmas. They asked us to just talk to Castro because they said he is a good cop. But what if something happened to our children? What about the psychological effect on them? The parent said. The Manila Police District is already looking into the incident. According to MPD Director Police Brigadier General Andre Dazon, Castro felt imminent danger in the presence of the students. He confronted them. The students moved as if they were about to attack him, which prompted him to hold his gun. According to our station commander, he just made sure that he would be on self-defense. As long as he did not point the gun at somebody, then it shows that he had no intention of firing it, Dazon said. Castro has been barred from doing rounds in the area while the investigation is ongoing. He was also asked to surrender his service firearm. The Sandigan Bayan has affirmed the conviction for graft and malversation of 2 former officials of the now-defunct National Agribusiness Corporation, affirmed with the guilty verdict handed down on the cases of former Administrative and Human Resources Manager and Conator Christina Munsard, who was also the vice chairperson of the then Bids and Awards Committee, and former General Services Unit Head Romulo M. Relivo. Their motions to reconsider the decision handed down last September 2 was denied by the Anti-Graft Court. The cases against them arose from the misuse in 2008 of the 4.85 million pesos Priority Development Assistance Fund of the late Eastern Samar Rep Teodulo Doloy Coquila, whose case had been dismissed on account of his death. In convicting Munsad and Relevo, the anti-graft court said their actions caused the illegal transfer of the PDAF from NABCOR to Gabamasa Development Foundation, Incorporated, which submitted falsified acceptance and delivery reports, disbursement reports, project proposals, and other important documents. A retired municipal administrator of San Isidro, Leyte, was killed in an ambush on the national highway in Barangay Labongao, Cananga, Leyte, on Wednesday, December 21. Police identified the victim as Juanita Bemoria Veloso, 77, a resident of Barangay Lineo, San Isidro, and sister of San Isidro Mayor Remedio Veloso. Initial investigation disclosed that the victim, together with driver Edmore Baque and companion Lilina Veloso, were on board a white sports utility vehicle toward San Isidro from Ormoc City. Upon reaching Barangay Labongao, men armed with high-powered firearms on board a grey Nissan Navara pickup truck with license plates ABN 71035 fired several times at the victim's vehicle. Juanita, who was sitting at the back of the driver, was hit, while Baque and Lilina were unharmed. Lilina ran towards a grassy portion of the road to seek cover while the suspects fled towards the direction of Capican. Later, Juanita was declared dead on arrival in a hospital by the attending physician. A former policeman was shot dead Thursday by an unidentified assailant in Calamba City, Laguna Province. Leo James Agpalo, an officer of a security agency, was traveling around 6:15 p.m. aboard his motorcycle along a service road in Barangay Mayapa when the assailant appeared and repeatedly shot him, the Police Region 4A said in a report Friday. Investigators said the killer fled after the shooting and left his target dead. Police were conducting further investigations to establish the motive behind the murder and identify the killer. An off-duty Marine sergeant was killed in a daring daylight gun attack here Sunday, police said. Major John Vincent Bravo, Cotabato City Police Station 1 Chief, said Marine Sergeant Rodolfo Magno, who is based in Buldan, Maguindanao, was sitting inside his Toyota Vios parked along Moreno Drive, Barangay Rosary Heights 2, waiting for his wife buying some vegetables from a roadside store when two men riding pillion on motorbike arrived. One of them pulled a caliber .45 pistol and shot Magno 3 times before fleeing toward Notre Dame Avenue. Magno died from 2 bullet wounds on his head and body. That's all for this week. I'll see you next week with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.